Hi everyone. I just wanted to uh, actually make a quick little video, little sort of episode of how I've gone about making the Kid Vader undersuit. I have posted some up on RPF and my local 501st Garrison, I think, while I was making it. And I've had a couple of questions come through, as to, bits and pieces of it. And I do plan to do a pretty big sort of episode series on it. Obviously, I've built it, so it'll be kind of retrospective, but I reckon I can answer quite a few questions and how I've done it anyway. But to really just get a couple of quick answers through to some guys who've actually asked, and I have owed them an answer for a while. So I just want to get this out really quickly. And what you're seeing now is the Kid Vader undersuit. I made this from scratch. And just for a bit of encouragement for those who kind of would like to do the same thing and are a bit daunted by it, I had never used a sewing machine before this project, and obviously, and you can see that, all right. So, you can see that it's a very rushed job. But the thing I found my mantra in working through this was it just has to work. So it can be really rough, up around the collar and the back, and be just an absolute mess and look terrible inside. But the parts that you see, the finished costume, it just has to work. So, that's success. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's not success. It's a bonus, but the suit just has to work and look good. I'm going to show you the templates I've used as well, which I've got lying around somewhere. Bear with me. Templates here. Okay, I'm going to lay them out as well. And I'm also going to show what materials I've used to layer up and get that... to get the suit. And the sewing machine, for anyone who's thinking of getting one, that I've used for this project, and I actually bought it. Like I said, I've never sewed before. I bought this machine. Is a Brother FS50 computer sewing machine thingy. And to do the sewing, you need a specific needle and a foot, which is like an accessory you attach. It's really easy. It's a quilting... I think it was a quilting foot, which you buy just fairly. It's probably about $60, something like that. Which you have to buy to be able to do the layered stitching on the several layers of material for this part of the suit. So you do need that. But I'm hoping that just by telling you this sewing machine and that foot, it's just a bit of a head start as to if you're thinking, oh, where do I start? What do I get? So start with those little gems of info and do a bit of research. Find yourself a good little trusty sewing machine. It doesn't have to be top spec. Mine wasn't. I don't think it's a top spec. I think it's just a middle range for a hack like myself, just to do the occasional sewing. Now I can do some repairs on my normal everyday clothing as well. But there you go. The suit. So you can see the outline of the top, arms and a torso. But you'll see also that the chest piece, the actual quilted look, is just is pretty much just a rectangle, and I've sewed it onto the over the top. The arms are actually a whole quilted piece, which I've attached there as well. So the arms are completely quilted, and the chest is just that square. There's no need for me to do any more of that. Of the top, because you don't see it, and it'd be a bit too hot as well, and the back is just compression material. The pants, now they were completely quilted, so there's no part, even the back, I think, yeah, even the back's completely quilted. This little bit of compression material here is just a bit of a sort of a stretchy bit in the butt there, which I thought I'd put in to allow the kids to grow and use these pants for as long as possible. But yeah, so that's the quilted pattern throughout. Now it looks a little, it's not perfect straight lines, but that's okay, because the Vader, his suit does have a sort of a worn, weathered, sort of scrunched up look, particularly in the original trilogy, which is where I've taken my sort of inspiration for this suit. Bear with me with the camera work because I'm trying to hold the camera and lay things out as I go. And this is exactly what I've used and how, the materials I've used and how I've layered them. So that's compression suit material. Is it spandex, I think you can call it. You know, the stretchy stuff, exercise wear and all that. Spandex material is on the inside. And then what I've done is I've gotten this really thin sort of batting or quadding. It's not thick. It's not thick. So yeah, you can sort of see there how thick it is. That's sort of really fine webby stuff that you could almost, you know, rip apart like a cobweb kind of thing. And that's just sort of gives the suit that little bit, that sort of body and you know, when you get that quilted look, there's sort of the, you know, the ridges on the suit. So that's actually it's laid over the top of the compression suit material. And then the leather look, I got some really, and this is really thin again as well. It's almost like paper thin. It's really thin stuff. It's a force leather, or like a fake, you know, kind of leathery vinyl thing. Looks like that on the back. And it actually sort of, you know, wrinkles up quite a bit too. And I've just used that, and that's over the top. And that's it. And if I was to show you, say, the leg of the pants, you can kind of see. That's how it is. The compression material on the inside there doesn't quite reach to the end. Who cares? Like I said, just needs to work. The trick, it's difficult to sew, so take your time. You can do it. Don't go fast, because if you go fast on this stuff and then it all sort of starts to bunch up, then you've stuffed it. So just take your time on this. It does take a while, but the rewards, it's a really good looking suit. It's actually not hot as what you might think too. I sort of ask my son a lot, you know, how did you go in it? And because it's compression suit, largely the compression suit is not that hot, or the material. So it's sort of, it is bearable. It's once you get all the weight of the capes and all of that over the top. You need to, I'll go into this more in depth when I sort of do the episodes, but you do need to pin it throughout. So I used a Sharpie to draw the lines. I think it was like every 12 or 18 millimeters. I think it's like half an inch or something like that. You do the conversion. But yeah, and then just pinned it. I used a lot of pins because, like I said, because it's layered, it can sort of bunch up like that as you're sewing, and then you're going to pull layers under. You know, you're just going to pull it all out from itself. But that's the suit. Yeah. Now, the templates I've used, I'll give you a really good head start. Buy a cheap t-shirt, buy some cheap pants, and cut off the seams. Cut it off and have a look at how it's put together. This is the pattern. That is the pattern for the arm. So the shoulder's sort of up here, and that sort of goes down to the armpits on either side. Your sleeves down the front here, and that's it. That's all it is. So you can sort of imagine once you fold this pattern, you've got your arm. And then this sort of margin here is sort of your area that will be, like your seam will be along here. And this is sort of like on the inside, really. So your seam's along there, and that'll go onto the torso bit. Torso is, like I said, camera work. I'm just getting the job done here. This is the torso, and again, I've used just a cheap top of theirs, and I just traced around it. I cut it up and I traced around it. I added a bit more size, so if I laid the top down over here, I've actually gone just a bit more extra around, you know, whatever top I use for the template, and just so they can grow into it. Obviously, if they're going to grow out of the top now, you want it to be bigger. So I have, and plus you can make it a bit bigger and sloppier because you don't really see much of it. You know, a lot of it's under a cape and a robe. Now, the sort of the margins you see are, what do you call? I don't know what you call them. The hem. I've kind of just worked this out on myself. Don't get too fancy. I think basically what this is saying is it's sort of cut there. And I think the rest of this is all a hem. I could get rid of that if I wanted to. Just cut there. Don't worry about it. Make a neck seal. I'll show you that as well. And the same thing, sort of the hems going in those dotted areas, but the actual seam or the stitch is where you see the solid line there. Like I said, just grab a cheap top, cut it up, go to, you know, anywhere you can get a top for a couple of bucks, cut it up, and you'll end up sewing it like that. I hope that answers your question about sort of, or gives you some idea of how I've done the top and what material I've used. But the big sort of info I can give you is take your time with the sewing, and, you know, do a couple of simple stitches first before you move on to the sort of the quilting technique that you need. Just practice on some scrap material, you know, just some normal long straight stitches so that you get to know the machine. And then practice even with some layers of just cheap material like this, to practice your sewing and quilting of your layers as well before you tackle that. But you can do it. Like I said, it can look as messy as you want. It's just got to look right, the bits that you see. I'll leave it at that. So it's one big long shot, I know. A little bit of a surprise, I guess, is the A New Hope helmet sculpt I'm working on. There you go. Not too far away. It's undersized. It's not a full-size helmet. Adults can wear it. And it's also kids can wear it, you know, like from about 12 or 13 or whatever. So there you go. Getting onto that as well, coming along. No worries. I'll put some more up and hopefully this has answered some questions. Bye.